Stupid, incoherent, ignorant, disgusting, disgraceful. These are just some of the words used to describe whatever the hell the Eagles tried to do last night in the second round of the NFL draft. If you missed it, stay that way. Just stay in your cave. It's a lot better down there, I promise you. But in case you didn't, the Eagles did draft quarterback Jalen Hurts with pick 53, and this is infuriating for so many reasons. It's confusing for so many more, and I promise I'm going to try and sit here and break all of these down for you to try and make us feel at least somewhat better about this pick. It's going to be a hard task, and I know I've got this reputation of somehow being positive, so bear with me, alright? Before we get into it, first of all, a massive thank you again to anyone that was in our live stream last night. I didn't think we were top night one, but we did. We smashed it. We're on close to 15,000 views in that live stream. We had over 500 likes.
No, you can. I believe I'm trying to motivate with 3. Imagine the limbs 1 away. We're almost there. The T's for Thomas. Is it in? Yes, the boys!
If you want to tune in today, we will be live streaming at 12 PM all the way through the finale of the NFL draft. So from rounds 4 to 7, we're going to have all of us in here. If you want to share whatever happens next with you, you guys are the best community imaginable. Thank you so much for all of the support in keeping us going through this stressful period. If you're not subscribed already, it'll be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button. As always, make sure you can get your daily dose of Philly sports content from phillysportsnetwork.com. Right, where do we even begin with this? I mean, let's address the elephant in the room, okay? The Eagles did need a backup quarterback. They did, okay? If you don't think they did, it's an ignorant take. They needed a backup quarterback. And Jeffrey Lurie 2 years ago stated that he wants to get back to a cycle of drafting yearly. And my immediate alarm bells went off thinking of that quote, because I'm of the opinion that because this man failed,
Carson, Clayton Dawson.
The Eagles may have been under some significant pressure from the owner to say, look, get yourself a quarterback and develop him, okay? A 5th round on Clayton Dawson was not enough. That is a wasted asset. It's a wasted talent. Do better, find someone that fits and go from there. Now, my bold prediction was the team would draft someone in the 4th round. I have my eye on James Morgan. I believe the Eagles like James Morgan. Apparently, they like Jalen Hurts a lot more. So why would the Eagles take Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round? Well, it's beyond me. Very, very much in some regards to what New England did with Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett. You draft them, you develop them, you move them on. Now, I don't think they're going to be an immediate threat to Carson Wentz, and we'll get to that topic in particular in just a little bit. Doesn't mean I like the pick, but I don't think that's a threat to Carson Wentz. It's a pick designed to develop, to marinate. There is a minor quibble with it, though, and it is a minor problem with that. If you're drafting a quarterback as high as round 2, okay, with the hopes of flipping him in the next 3 to 5 years, the aim is that he's sort of going to play a bit, because if he doesn't and there's no tape, no team's going to want him, because quarterbacks come out every year and they also do things in this thing called the NFL every year. So if he's not doing anything, in a best case scenario where your starting quarterback stays healthy, I don't get what the point of the pick is. In a worst case scenario, the opposite to that is that Carson Wentz, for whatever reason, can't play, be it injury or whatever, and Jalen Hurts comes in, makes an account of himself, the Eagles flip him. Lovely, they've got a quarterback factory. Well done, you're playing NCAA 14, and we are all loving it. Now, I understand that the Eagles have been to 3 postseason appearances since the beginning of the Doug Peterson era, and all 3 of them have involved a veteran free agent. The idea of having someone to be groomed along and to gradually grow into that role, it makes sense. I'm all for it. Doesn't need to be a 2nd round pick. It's that simple. I do think, though, that it helps Carson Wentz. He's 27 years old now. And let's say this happens in 5 years' time. We'll be looking at someone that can groom the heir to his throne. This is very long-term and outside the box here. It could be totally irrelevant. But I genuinely feel as though if you can get Carson Wentz to groom someone along in preparation for a trade or to flip or whatever, or just to marinate him, to get some of those skills, those traits, share that knowledge that you've acquired over the last few years, then by the time we hit Aaron Rodgers' age, the pick of Jordan Love all of a sudden isn't seeming so friction-based. Transition would be much, much smoother. But again, we're really clutching at straws here. And Doug Peterson spoke and basically compared Jalen Hurts to Lamar Jackson, Taysom Hill, and basically any other dual threat quarterback. And that got me thinking that a few months ago, Press Taylor, the Eagles' then quarterback coach, spoke with the media saying that dual passers could be on the field. He can see that being a bubble in the league, having 2 quarterbacks on the field at the same time, being a foreseeable future. Now, Alabama did this. Alabama did this with Tua and Jalen Hurts, and it worked occasionally. Problem is, we're NFL defenses, and I don't know if this is the next 3-point bubble that we see in the NBA, or if it's just a fad, or it's something that just can't quite be implemented because, I don't know, you're working with grown men and not 19-year-olds who don't understand what's going on. I do like the idea of a Taysom Hill level athlete being used. Whether this would work or not, I don't know. He's 6'2", 218 pounds, completed 69% of his passes last year, and rushed for over 1,200 yards. In fact, he became the first Oklahoma Sooner to lead the team in rushing since 1988. It's quite a feat. I mean, he had to overcome Sam Bradford to do that, and we all know he was lethal. His interception ratio in 2019 was 32-8. He's an accurate passer. He's a game manager. I love it. He's got wheels for days. He's mobile. In terms of a quarterback prospect, he deserves a chance to start. I don't know. I really try to rack my brains as to why Philadelphia would take him. Another qualm with this, okay, is I really feel for Carson Wentz, and I don't care if it's not competition to him. Man has got to walk to work every day, walk past the statue of Nick Foles, knowing every day he looks at it, a free agent that's not even on the team anymore took the team to its first Super Bowl while he sat on the sideline. He has to live with the legacy of coming out of that shadow, unfortunately. That's the reality of it, as much as this is Carson Wentz's team. So you give him a $128 million deal. That's fantastic. Well done. That's what he deserves. I don't care. This is the equivalent, okay, is if you've got a girlfriend and you go, yeah, I'm just going to go meet Giselle, this supermodel. Is that cool? I don't care how trusting your girlfriend is, she's going to get a bit suspicious if there's a random supermodel that appears, okay? That's not right. You're going to get some red flags going off. And after all the stuff that Carson Wentz has put up with, from the Alshon Jeffrey sources, to the Super Bowl, to the ACL, to all this stuff, he finally catches a break and you go and do this. I don't get it it's an ignorant standpoint from a coaching perspective, unless he is fully okay with it. I'm not a fan. Then it's the board in question, okay, because by the time the Eagles were on the clock, we were saying in the live stream, this was monumental. This was unbelievable. This was the perfect scenario for the Philadelphia Eagles. AJ Epinesa was on the board, for instance. Cornerback Christian Fulton, linebacker Willie Gay Jr. There were so many names that fit so many pivotal needs for this team. It was almost like how he could hit a home run. There was no way he could possibly go wrong. And then he did. And then he drafted a quarterback. And then it went wrong. The fact that there were so many options available, and you take Jalen Hurts at 53, is terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Now, hey, I really hope we're all wrong, and that in 3 years' time, Jalen Hurts becomes this Taysom Hill second asset that is running sweeps and screens and is doing bootlegs and play actions and flea flickers and whatever else, and maybe they just rotate quarterbacks. I don't know. I genuinely trying to find and rack my brains for any kind of logical sense here, but I can't, because even if you try and flip him, you are relying on Carson Wentz going down. You're relying on your backup playing. That won't happen. It just won't. And the only thing I can think of is that the Eagles have had no security at backup quarterback, and that team knows firsthand just how valuable a backup QB is, where they've felt an immense sense of pressure, whether it be from Jeffrey Lurie or whoever, to go and get a guy early that can groom and marinate and step in if Wentz goes down, because this team they feel is too close to a championship window to let it slide. But in a 2020 season, where you have got teams like the Ravens and the Seahawks and the Saints and the Bengals and the Chargers and whoever else, you take a quarterback in the second round is dumbfounding when there is that much talent left on the board, when there is that much obvious talent left on the board for you to build out your team. And if Carson Wentz is your prized belonging, the man you want to invest your future in, why would you let one of Jason Kelce's replacements slip through the cracks? Let all of them slip through the cracks. Now there is nobody left as a replacement center, and if Jason Kelce goes down, you're left with Nate Herbig and you're left with Matt Pryor. And I love Jeff Stoutland. It's an almighty task getting either of those guys playing center. Let's not forget, Isaac Seumalo played center one off season and was snapping balls into oblivion, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. I do not understand this pick. I'm trying to be logical about it. I'm trying to understand why the Eagles would go so early. And my only glimmering hope here is that maybe it helps Carson Wentz in the long run. Maybe Hurts does become a piece of the offense in the Greg Ward that Greg Ward never was, in someone that that could be a wildcat quarterback that can come on for a few snaps a game and pull off the unthinkable with a deep threat in Jalen Reagor. Maybe, just maybe, he is, but it's not a fly you take on at round 2. That is not what you do for a quarterback that's a Heisman runner-up to Joe Burrow and deserves a starting opportunity. He deserves somewhere like New England. He deserves somewhere to go and earn his payday, and I don't think he's going to get a chance to do that in the Eagles. It's a stupid pick. I feel like it has hurt the career of Jalen Hurts. It has hurt the career of Carson Wentz. I think it will hurt the Eagles, and I hope I can look back in a year's time and be like, wow, I was wrong. Jalen Hurts ran for 500 yards and passed for 300, scored 10 touchdowns. I would love it. I'll hold my hands up. I'll be extremely apologetic. It's a great move in that regard. But until that day, I think every fan has every right to be as bitter, as angry, and as upset as they are right now, because this just isn't a move that makes any kind of logistical sense outside of we need to find a backup for Carson Wentz, because you can do that in the later rounds. Every team does it. You can look at free agents. You can look to guys like Cameron Newton. You can look to guys like Joe Flacco. You don't have to go and get the biggest, baddest quarterback left on the board. It's a stupid mentality. It is the first ego-driven pick I can feel in this draft, and I'm praying it is the last. But let me know what you think down below, guys. Sorry for the rant. I think it got away from me. It's now 6:51 in the morning here. We will be live streaming, as I said, again at 12 p.m. Eastern, around 4 to 7 of the NFL draft. If you want to tune in right here on the YouTube channel, from myself, Liam Jenkins, I'll see you soon.